Before I get started with my review, I just want to say, before you guys stop watching this video, I want you to know that you guys need to go try to check this film out before you guys even listen to anybody, including myself. I've seen a lot of negative reviews, and I feel like that's putting people off just because of how the MCU's been. This film is by not near a bad film. It does have its flaws, of course, but overall this film is very well detailed in the sense that it follows the vibes of Winter Soldier in a serious tone. I really walked in expecting not to like this film because I listened to other people's reviews before I went and saw this film, of course, and I was truly shocked at how well I really enjoyed this film. I have it up there with Captain America's Winter Soldier, and then I have this film, and then Civil War, which I'll explain in a different video. But before you guys even, like I said, turn this off, go watch this film for yourself and kind of make your own opinions. Don't listen to other people. With that being said, let's get into the review of Captain America: Brave New World. The 35th film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was released this last weekend, this being the 4th Captain America movie, the first solo film for Sam Wilson and Anthony Mackie. And with that being said, I did give it a few days for people to digest and hopefully see this film, as it is President's Day, and I just felt like, hey, what better day than to discuss this film? And with the political elements and, you know, us going through a political time ourselves this year with an election, with our world going through crazy events, which is, you know, something I don't like to get into, I thought it was best to talk about it today. And with that being said, this will be a spoiler review, so if you've not seen this film, please turn off the video now and come back to when you get a chance later. And with that also being said, before you guys stop watching this, video, leave a comment. Let me know if you guys actually enjoyed this film, hated this film. If you have yet to subscribe to the channel, please. I'd love to hear from you guys. And of course, please like the video. Give me just a quick like. If you hate it, turn it off. That's all you gotta do. But with all that being said, let's jump into what really worked for this film, and it starts with Anthony Mackie's performance. He does a very good job in his first solo film. I really think my appreciation comes from the buildup of his character arc, from appearing in Winter Soldier to his time in the Avengers films, and to what he goes through in his Disney Plus series. With that being said, I feel that is where a lot of people will either love or hate this film, honestly. You would love this film if you've watched all the content that involves these characters, meaning watching The Incredible Hulk from 2008 up to The Falcon and Winter Soldier a few years back. I think that, the one thing that's going to sell people on this film is if you are a true MCU fan. You will appreciate that doing your homework actually paid off. The story they crafted for these characters to fit into this story explained what, for example, explaining what happened to Tim Blake's Samuel Stearns. Performances from Carl Lumbly's as Isaiah Bradley was very, very well done. And I think people who watched the Disney Plus series will appreciate this film a lot more versus people who haven't seen it due to his backstory from that show carrying into this film. Some details you probably didn't get if you haven't watched Disney Plus shows was, Isaiah Bradley going to prison for 30 years and being experimented on for being hero of the country. And in this movie, you get a scene where he's emotional and crying that he can't go back to prison, and Sam has to find a way to try to help get his life back, and that just puts more emotional pressure on Sam's Captain America in this film that I thought was very well done and very well needed. It's those details that, if you do not know, makes this film feel less for some people that haven't watched those, especially watched the Disney Plus series. The same can be said about Samuel Stearns, the actual villain of the film. I do truly wish they would have kept him a secret until they actually showed him in a film. But, going into this film, we do know that he was the main villain. As I felt like it would have been very cool to see this long-lost character finally pop up. But, how they fit him in and explain that he has been kept prisoner by Ross and promises freedom if he helps with his, heart condition and other areas of life. I felt fixed this character from the first time we saw him in 2008, and him executing his plan now since Ross became president, and a lot about him getting, letting him go does make sense. So I've seen some people not like where he was coming from with his pettiness and his, evil villain plan. But, with that being said, he has this power of having a super brain, and remembering what he was like in that 2008 film. It kind of goes along with his character. And, putting yourself in his shoes, being treated like this by a figure and then just, losing all hope. I could see people, you know, I feel like we all would be that petty and go after this person as, you know, these are our first times stepping in the light of doing something bad in a sense. Because I feel like he wasn't a bad character or an evil dude before he got these powers. So he's not an evil guy. He's building into that because of what Ross created him into. Overall, Tim Blake gave a great performance for the screen time he had. And I also truly enjoyed Giancarlo Esposito's assassin character. I can't talk. I can't say his name like I always do. But, and, you know, I do feel he was a very good add-on with the reshoots of this film. So that was a plus with the reshoots. And then, of course, Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres as the next Falcon. He had a very good movie. I feel like he had a very good performance and had some emotional scenes that really, you know, pulled on the heartstrings. You know, I almost teared up when he was going through surgery. And, of course, the surprise cameo of Bucky. I honestly clapped because you know, it was automatically assumed he'd be there. But I didn't see any leaks of him showing up. So a lot of times you expect some of these characters to show up, but they sometimes don't. So him showing up to support Sam was very well done and needed. Now I'm just hoping that, you know, because in this film, Bucky does hug Sam and tells him he loves him, and Sam doesn't say it back. I am truly hoping, full circle moment, that Sam shows up in Thunderbolts at some points to help Bucky through his emotional situation. But along with Joaquin telling Sam he was the one he looked up to and wanted to be more like him because of who he is, which goes, you know, into the overall arc throughout this movie of Sam battling himself, that he should take the serum. He wished he would have took it, which I feel like they did a very good job throughout the film, showing Sam use his gadgets, his new suit abilities from Wakanda helping him, and even scenes where he was without a suit. He really showed on both sides how he can be a good Captain America in his own way. And I felt like they did a good job showing that and showing that he does not need the serum. Would I be against him getting the serum at some point? No, but do I really think he needs it? I do not. I really also enjoyed that he had been training with Isaiah Bradley and working towards being as perfect as he can, because he has, you know, a line telling Torres the pressure is what keeps him on his feet, as he can't make any mistakes, as he's just a man and knows everyone is watching him. Like, he shows at times that he understands how much he means to people and that he can't slip up because he could get hurt. Somebody could get hurt. He's not Steve Rogers, like they say in the film. He doesn't have these super abilities to make things a little bit easier on himself, and it shows at times. You know, and the last thing I want to touch on a positive side, I just want to talk about the post-credit scene. You know, although a lot of people will say doesn't make any sense, I'll say it was, yeah, probably something added on last minute. It isn't the best, but it does help provide Sam with information to begin restarting the Avengers sooner and give him an idea that a threat is coming. You know, for people who haven't seen it, Samuel Stearns warned Sam of others coming, and if he would be ready to protect this world as he has learned of the multiverse and what is to come. So pretty much just showing, you know, giving Sam a tease of the multiverse and understanding that a bigger threat is coming. And then, of course, I've seen people state, how would he know this? How would Samuel Stearns, this dude, know this? This dude was given a fucking huge brain. The Hulk, through, you know, his powers, got Hulk abilities, super, all that shit. This dude, it went to his brain. Throughout the film, he does a lot of statistics and calculating and things like that. He's had these powers for over 20 years, locked in a fucking prison. You do not think he would actually, you know, maybe stumble across the multiverse and other fucking theories that, you know, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, a lot of other people probably seen at some point? I feel like it's believable. Is it the best post-credit scene? No. I have seen reviewers compare it to Sony-level post-credit scenes. I don't think it's that bad. Maybe I'm dumb. That's just me. However, I really truly believe this was an okay post-credit scene. Would I have loved more? Yes. Is it as terrible as people saying it is? No. It's not, you know, it's not exciting, but it is setting up the story for the future of the Avengers films coming out and kind of giving little bread pieces to the characters to start getting there, which is something that needs to happen fast because we have 2 more films before that, which could be another video that I'll talk about at some point. Now, with that being said, this film does come with its flaws. Others are letting it bring it down to where they are very passionate about hating this film, which I feel is the basic thing to do now with Marvel films. Can we just appreciate and remember that this is the only cinematic universe going on, and we are still getting very good films even this late into the second saga with all the shit that has happened during the saga. I do feel Marvel is at least putting effort into trying to finish it off as best as they can, as like I said, they had plenty of reshoots with this film. It shows that they care. You know, we had COVID. We had actors dealing with personal issues, going to court. We had actors die. Rest in peace. Like, a lot of shit has happened, guys. And, you know, people complaining. I feel like Kevin Feige has done as great of his job as he can. Could he have done better? Probably. But he's been dealt a shitty hand this second saga. A lot of the plans have kind of consistently got chopped off because of shit happening. And I feel like they've done a very good, you know, Uno reverse and fix it as best as they can. And just a reminder, criticism is good. Being an asshole and just bitching about the stupid shit is not good. These are comic book films. Remember, comic book films, it's make-believe. Yes, you want to kind of compare it to a lot of things and give it more criticism. But it's also remembering there's different genres to comic book films. There's stuff like the Batman. It's more realistic and more serious toned and a beautiful film. And there's things like Deadpool and Wolverine, just a fucking dumbass, funny ass shit comic book movie. There's different parts, and there's like even going back to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man trilogy. There's different comic book movies. These are meant to be popcorn entertainment films. They're not supposed to make you think really hard and be so fucking spectacular every single time. Like, it's, you know, we want to shoot for that, of course, but I also understand it's to go in, have fun, and enjoy these characters. And I love seeing a character arc, especially in the MCU, where all these characters are going. This is the first film we got a serious Marvel movie since pretty much Winter Soldier. There wasn't a lot of joking. Every other fucking film that's came out lately, people bitch about the joking. We finally get a Marvel film where they're more serious. What happens? There's more bitching. And that's where I'm going to go into the flaws. But like I said, the flaws do not weigh this movie down. Yes, they're a little nitpicky and it sucks. One specific reason. But all the other nitpicks people are talking about, I don't know what the hell they wanted. I think this was a very good solo film for Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson. It did a very good job with the internal story, giving different plot lines, and wrapping up some loose ends in a sense. That being said, the first loose end I want to talk about, my first critic of this film, is a Hulk movie that was made in 2008 to not include Bruce Banner and a Hulk is very frustrating. So you brought back characters from a 2008 movie that is Hulk characters, but you just threw them in for Sam Wilson's Captain America. Do they fit in because of the political story and all the stuff they went for? Yes. So that's one reason I'm kind of not really mad about it. But I am upset because adding Bruce Banner and Hulk in this would have made this film amazing. So, and it sets it up because Smart Hulk could have still worked in this film. And I felt could have helped in the sense of getting Raging Hulk back with maybe the fusion of Red Hulk's blood towards the end of the film. If we could have got that fight, we could have, you know, had Sam call in for backup for Bruce, since Bruce and Ross go back a long way. Our other cameo in the film, Liv Tyler's Betty, could have had a little more to do by giving us closure to what happened to their communication relationship between her and Bruce. And Sam could have gone off to fight the Serpent Society and stop the leader from something else. I felt like that would have been a better ending to this film. Now, I don't know what felt that they could have been better in my view. I did enjoy the fight at the end with Sam and Red Hulk. It was entertaining watching how Sam was going to get out of that alive. And him using sharp blades was, you know, from the comics, so it wasn't a bad final fight. It just could have been better. I really did enjoy the final act, just seeing, you know, those last 15 minutes of him fighting Red Hulk and seeing him use his smarts and his gadgets to get out of that situation, because we know, Captain America with no serum is not going to physically beat up the Hulk. He had to use advantages. Now, I wish they would have explained a little bit more how, you know, bullets bounce off Red Hulk, but Blade stabbed him. Because unless you're a comic book fan, you don't know that's his weakness. And it could have been nice if, like, somehow Red Wing would have figured that out and said, hey, bullets won't work, but very sharp objects on your wings might. Just, you know, Marvel. I know I'm not the smartest and the best, but I can give, you know, some reviews right before these movies come out. And going to the first fight, a lot of people was talking about, I don't feel like it wasn't that bad. Like, The fight wasn't as bad as people put it out to be, but there is sometimes the fights did seem slow and out of whack, along with the CGI, which is also due to the reshoots, unfortunately. You know, they've been working on this film. Reshoots take time, but you know, the CGI, the VFX, all that stuff, that takes time too. So if you do reshoots late, it's gonna look wonky, and that kind of takes the grade down of this film. Are the fights bad? No. It's another plus of this film. The aerial combat, them, you know, seeing Falcon and the Captain America use his wings in that fight around Celestial Island, trying to defuse a battle between Japan and the United States, was amazing. They had some great scenes in that, and that's also where the, you know, emotional scene comes from, where the Falcon gets a little ahead of himself and ends up almost blowing himself up. But with that being said, you know, another little gripe I had was the reshoots. Some of the characters who were included who got cut, I was hoping to see. You know, I'm a WWE fan. I love Seth Rollins. He was supposed to play a character in the Serpent Society. Rosa Salazar, who was also going to be another member of the Serpent Society, was both cut from this film. Truly felt they could have still been added in some of, you know, Giancarlo's scenes, which just, unfortunately, they didn't get to use. As, you know, we have photos from set where Seth Rollins is on it. And hell, we even have Happy Meal toys of Rosa Salazar's character. Characters that we got, such as Shara Haas's as Sabra, who had backlash. So again, they changed her character up in the film, even though we still get her in a blue and white towards the end, showing, you know, we know which comic book character she's supposed to be. She was honestly out of place, and it felt they could have just included another character in her place, such as Sharon Carter from, you know, Falcon and Winter Soldier series. That was a end credit scene that we probably won't get answered ever, or for a long time. We might not see her again. I don't know. Felt they could have brought back Don Cheadle for a small role due to his political side and give us some information on, you know, also what was going on with Eli Bradley. They introduced him to the Disney Plus show, and, you know, he's a future Young Avenger. By the time we get to the Young Avengers, he's going to be like 30. My issue is, like, you know, the main issue with this saga, they try adding too many new characters, and here we are 2 movies from an Avengers film, and some of these characters we haven't seen in 3 to 5 years. And I'm scared of them setting up, how are they going to show where these characters are by the time Avengers Doomsday comes around? We haven't seen Shang-Chi in a long-ass time. We haven't seen Spider-Man since 2021, right? I think, yeah. A lot of these characters that's going to show up in Doomsday, we haven't seen. So how are they going to get them all together within a good timeline that makes sense? Or are they going to just set it up all off screen when they could have been setting all this stuff within these different films? My gripe. And then lastly, small gripe, was Samuel Stearns' final look and his plan. It wasn't terrible, but when they had photos of his look before the reshoots of him, he was looking closer to his comic counterpart. I kind of also wonder why they changed him as they did. You know, the only thing I can think of is, I guess, to make his petty revenge plan make more sense, because I would rather see the other look, because, you know, with his petty plan, it disfigured his head and his brain a lot, and he looked very gross. So maybe that, you know, encouraged him a little bit more to get his revenge, but I would have rather seen the more comic accurate counterpart. And also his plan at times had great components to it, and at times it was weak. He did definitely give a great performance. I felt he could have just been made more of a threat if they would have worked more on his story. And he might have been, you know, with the original drafts. But with that being said, I give this film an 8 out of 10. It does enough to keep you entertained. The story and the serious tone, they went back to, like, you know, the Winter Soldier. Like I said, it was very well done. My pros and my views are way better than the small gripes I had in my eyes. Do truly believe you should see this in theaters, as Anthony Mackie does deserve a sequel in the future. It is fun, entertaining. Go make your own opinion. It was a blast. It's a little bit under 2 hours. It's not a long Marvel film. All the characters, especially, you know, Isaiah Bradley, Joaquin Torres, Sam Wilson, early on, all 3 together had great chemistry. Harrison Ford as General Ross did a great job. With that being said, though, I did, side note, find this today while making this video, just to give you more insight of what possibly was happening behind the scenes. So this, bear with me, this is an interview with a behind the scenes, I believe, producer or creator of the film, who worked on the film. He or she also worked on other Marvel films, had this to say. Early on, I think everyone on the crew knew this is probably not going to be a good movie, they reveal. Some of the action sequences were not believable. We had a lot of frustrations on set. After principal photography was finished, it was like, oh, we're going to introduce the leader of the Serpent Society. It was on, then it was off, then it was on again. That's very expensive to do. My coworkers who spent more time on Brave New World than I did said, yeah, this has been a really rough production. So with that being said, those reshoots spent a lot of time. That they fully didn't know where he was going. I could see where he was going. The leader was going to be the main leader of the Serpent Society. That's where Sulphur Rollins, the other girl's character, they all come in. They go on to say reshoots are a part of making any movie like this with a big budget, but this isn't Marvel's first rodeo. Entire sequences we shot won't make it into the film, and that's very expensive. I'm not going to say the director was not equipped to handle that production. I like what they said there. They're not throwing the director under the bus, but that tells me the director had no fucking clue what they was doing. And it's a lot of things I've seen a lot of people say. I don't think they got a great director for this film. They had good moments where they had good vision, and then parts of the film felt out of place because of the reshoots and the CGI that it was very bad. Not a lot of times, but you can tell when that happens, so that is a gripe. Basically, dealing with A-list egos was the issue also. It goes on to state it was mainly just Harrison Ford. So that was a little disappointing. At the end of the day, it was the most tense Marvel shoot I've ever worked on. Everyone kind of felt their buttholes tightening a little bit. It's like, ugh. They go on to say Harrison Ford was one of the crankiest performers I ever dealt with, which was sad. I'm a fan, but he was very much a diva. I don't know if you remember, but he got in a plane crash. He couldn't even raise his left arm above his chest. We had to suit up an 80-something-year-old Harrison Ford in these motion capture dots. To me, it just seemed like he hated it and didn't want to do it. And when Harrison was done, he was just done. Everyone was trying to scramble to make him happy. That made for a very awkward work environment. This will likely shock fans as it goes against the humorous and positive narrative Ford was given on his casting and time on Captain America Brave New World. While scathing, the report does note that Ford's behavior was stated to not be unusually challenging by another source, whatever that means. So again, we got multiple reports. Harrison Ford was being a fucking diva. He's 80-some years old. I think he probably is going to be cranky. He's pretty old. He was in a plane crash. That sucks. But it's also one of those things, if you sign up to do it, you're getting paid. Stop being a bitch. Do your fucking job. Or don't sign up to do it. Like, that's what kills me with Hollywood. Like, you have these A-listers, and it's like, I'd rather see someone I don't even know give a performance that they're passionate about and want to be there versus Harrison Ford. He's 80 years old. Dude needs to retire. Love him in a lot of films. But if I can't stand people that act like that. But that was just a little tidbit of, tidbit information of what supposedly happened behind the scenes. Maybe this is a lie. Harrison Ford might be an amazing guy. I don't know. But normally when multiple sources are starting to come out and we've been hearing all this rumbling about Captain America behind the scenes, I would say most likely part of it was probably true. A lot of it might be true, but we don't know. However, that is why I say this film actually wasn't bad. With all the crap that happened, it turned out to be a very well done film. Is it perfect? Is it amazing? No. It's pretty good. Like I said, 8 out of 10. Go make your own opinions. Go watch it when you have a chance. If you love the MCU, if you love Sam Wilson as a character, you'll like this film. That being said, watch out for my next review, Hard Eyes, and I will also have a video out later today about some new movie news. I'm picking this back up. I appreciate you guys checking out my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.